The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
You are listening to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 beer with a sports talk and a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Sports Network. Listen in as Brent and Dave invite you to belly up to the bar with them to talk about everything in the world of sports, just like you would do at your favorite watering hole. It's sports, beer, and shenanigans, so belly up to the bar with us, grab a beverage, and let's get into it. The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, 4 beer sports talk and a whole lot more, episode 394 on this 29th day of April 2024. Tonight's show, as always, brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today for all your baseball tickets, basketball tickets, or NHL playoff tickets. Not many games left after this first round, the way it's turning up. We'll get to that in half a second. Remember, we are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Go to bellyupsports.com for all the great articles and other podcasts, such as my guys over there at Craft Brewed Sports, one of my favorites. Even when before we were on the Belly Up Network, I started listening to those guys. And thank you for everybody who listens to our show on a daily basis or catches us up over on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel today if you haven't already. And check out me and Dave's smiling faces over there on the YouTube channel. Dave, it's been a week. We didn't record on Thursday night. Might have been my faux pas or something I said. I didn't know what's going on, but I went down to the great state of Montana, the Fort McLeod Selects. We went to our annual tournament down there, old timers, old guys playing hockey. Had a good time. Came up a little bit short, lost 4-3 in the championship game yesterday afternoon. A little bit short, lost the game with 30 seconds left. It doesn't mean a whole bunch. You get to our age, but it kind of does a little bit. You get, like I said, off the air a little bit. You only get so many times to compete when you get to our age, and when games kind of mean a little bit. There's a little trophy and stuff involved. You can say you won. I mean, you got to go to work the next day anyways. You still have your family and friends and everything else that matters more. But even when you lose a game like that, Dave, I tell you what, it stung a little bit losing in overtime the way we did.
Oh, I get it. In the famous words of Nuke Lelouch on the bus in Bull Durham, I fucking love winning. It's like better than losing.
Yeah. If
you're keeping score, you're keeping score, and I can imagine. I'm not saying sticks were being gripped tight, but you're keeping score, and you'd rather win than lose.
Well, what was funny is throughout the weekend, the wives kind of pay attention. They come and watch a little bit and everything else. They don't really watch. But then yesterday, about the half of the second period, when we tied the game up at 3, they got into a little bit and started pounding on the glass and cheering a little bit more. And they were getting pretty excited about the game. So it had attitude to it a little bit, like you said. Once you start keeping score, and sticks were getting gripped a little bit tighter, and some tempers started flaring near the end of it. So it was a bunch of old guys. And I think all you get, we get to take home is a T-shirt that says you're the champions, whatever it is. But it's more about the camaraderie and the fun. But like you said, you'd rather, like you said, Luke Luce, winning's way better than losing, because when it was all said and done, we're sitting around about 5 to 10 minutes after the game was done, and you're having a beer afterwards and just talking. Scotty Norland just out of nowhere, he just bellowed out, "Fuck, do I hate losing." So it's one of those things you have. But it was all said and done. We had a really good time down in Montana. Drank some beers, and ate some good food, and had some good times with some friends you don't get to see very often.
Where was the championship team from?
They were from Edmonton. They had a few guys who could play a little bit, and they were pretty good. So no, it was one of the few times this weekend where we played a bunch of guys who were closer to our age, and it was the one time we actually lost. We handled the younger teams a little bit better. It was these older guys who played the same kind of game we did, stole the puck down and everything else. So that was a fun game. It was a fun weekend all in all.
And I would imagine, it was spirited competition, but it was all in fun from both sides, and you guys, some handshakes and high fives, or was there a couple fuck yous?
There was a little situation late in the third period where or in overtime, actually, a friend of the show, Mike Davis, got himself in a little bit of trouble, and Rob Luther, he got himself a little bit of trouble. There was a running of the goalie incident on our goalie that our players didn't take too kindly to, and all hell broke loose. Not all hell, but it got a little bit heated, and a couple of guys were told that their participation was no longer required in that match at that late in about halfway through overtime in the overtime frame like yesterday. It got a little bit heated. And not.
So do they have
We
Did
didn't
they
start
finish?
it, but we finished it. Yeah.
Did they finish the game in the box, or was like, get out of here? You're in
No,
the
it was shower time, boys. That was it. So Niner was actually by the time I got back in the dressing room, Niner already was showered up, having a beer when the game was over. I didn't even wait to see if we won or lost in overtime.
That's kind of on brand. I remember a couple of times back in the day. Well, I remember one particular time there was a brouhaha that developed at the bar and brought it over to 11:39, and he started it. But when it got finished, he was mixing drinks and playing tunes.
Playing tunes inside. So it was the same kind of a deal yesterday down in Whitefish, Montana. But to the Fort McLeod Flex for listening to this probably on Tuesday. Thank you very much for the guys for the weekend. Dave, the NHL playoffs are continuing. It's kind of going on with a bit of a whimper. The NHL first round, like we talked about last week this time, it's always the best round in hockey, but it's been a lot of – there was a sweep. There's a lot of 3-1 games already. Tampa Bay is out. The Steven Stamkos era might have ended tonight in Tampa Bay with the Florida or in Florida with the Tampa Bay Lightning losing 6-2 or 6-1 tonight. Doesn't much matter because their series is done in 5 games, and there could be 3 or 4 more series and in the next 24 hours in 4 games or in 5 games. Out of the ones, I'm going to go name 3 teams before we get something else. So I'll talk about the schedule a little bit. But out of the 3 teams down 3-1 right now, you got Toronto down 3-1 to the Bruins. You got Winnipeg down 3-1 to Colorado, and you got Nashville down 3-1 to the Vancouver Canucks. Which team do you think feels the most down with themselves being down 3-1?
Winnipeg. Because Winnipeg has home ice, and they are getting run right out of the fucking rink. But so for different reasons. Winnipeg is just like, Jesus fucking Christ. We beat these guys. They swept them 3-0 in the regular season. I was listening to a podcast today. Outscored them 17-4 in 3 games. And they are just getting run right out of the rink.
Won their last 8 in a row at the end of the season.
Colorado is playing a different game. It's ridiculous, speed and this and that, and we got a Vezina caliber goalie. On that note, so Winnipeg comes home for Game 5. Do they congratulate Connor Hellebuck before the game on his Vezina nomination?
Probably not the right time to be mentioning that. It's
even the game they won, he gave up 6. Yeah,
he hasn't been good, and he's Colorado is really good, like you said, but for a guy to be as good as Hellebuck was all season long and not be good, it's not his fault, 100% his fault, but when it comes to playoff time, if you don't get top-notch goaltending or even 3/4 notch goaltending, you don't have a shot at all. And Hellebuck, you get paid. I know you don't get paid in the playoffs, but his regular season numbers were fantastic, and he has not been good at all. And with the Winnipeg team that was expected to do a little bit, they'll probably be done. If not tomorrow, they'll be done probably on Thursday night.
Yeah, it's just what it is. Like some teams, some franchises are able to flip the switch, and what you do in the regular season is fine and dandy, and sure you got home ice. But now we're playing some big boys that know how to lift that.
They've won before.
Yeah. And Colorado was making this look fucking easy. And, I watched the majority of that game yesterday. Chicago was up 4-1 in the third, and they had their foot on the gas. It was like, fuck you. We're running it up. We were running it up. There was that end-to-end goal from Cale Makar that made a lot of highlight reels. And it was a great goal, and it's a player. He's so highly skilled and is able to do things. But Winnipeg's just shit their pants the entire time. Everybody's backing up so bad because they don't want to have them blow by you. And the one D-man, his fucking ass was in the goalie's face by the time it was done. He was backing up so bad. He can't go by you when you're standing on the fucking goal line. Get up there, mix it up, do something. And whatever that was working for them in the regular season, that worked at regular speed. But now we're going to switch the game to expert mode, and that's what Winnipeg's is running into here.
I agree with you a little bit, Dave, that Winnipeg's probably a bit shell shocked with how they're down 3-1, facing elimination tomorrow night at home. But the team that I think's got to be kicking themselves in the pills a little bit is the Nashville Predators. So a 3-1 series, a 3-1 game lead with around 3 left to go yesterday afternoon, early evening, and then they had an empty net goal.
Post, yeah.
Colton Citizens hit the post on an empty netter. That goes in. The series is tied 2-2, but now they give up 2 late ones. Brock Besser scored late with 6 seconds left to tie the game, and it was quick, done in overtime about 4 minutes in, and now all of a sudden fucking Nashville, who should have been tied 2-2, they're down 3-1 going back to Vancouver. They must be thinking, what the fuck just happened here? Like that, they got to be the most I don't say disappointed, but the most shocked right now, because I think Toronto kind of knew what Toronto is. Like their fan base knows, and the players kind of know that they're not going to beat Boston, and Winnipeg kind of knew that that Colorado is what Colorado is, a recent Stanley Cup champion. When you're up 3-1 with 3 to go, empty net hits the post, you think you're going back 2-2, and now you're two bad goals away from going home for the season. That's got to be the fucking shocker.
I agree with that. That it should be 2-2, and you can actually make an argument that it could just as easily be Nashville up 3-1. Nashville had every opportunity to steal game 1, and now they played and then they lose game 2 to the backup goalie, and they lose game 3 to the fucking third string goalie.
Yeah,
like so.
I don't know his name. I saw it last night. I was like, what the hell is going on here? I was like, what the Jesus? Who is this guy? Like, I have no idea. I don't even know his name right now. Not a clue.
I heard his name a couple times today too, but I couldn't tell you what it was. DeSmith is the one, the backup, but I don't know who number 3 is.
Demko was out after game 1. Casey DeSmith was he played game 2 and 3, and he got kind of lit up early in game 2, and then won game 3, and then that series should be 2-2. Like I get it, like guys hit the post and empty netters, but not in playoff hockey. You can't do that right there, because that's one of those moments that Vancouver can build on if they can get by this series. That might be a moment they go, fuck, this is one of those things, the momentum that changes a series and changes a playoff run, where you come down from like it's over, and you're back up to the backups in net. And all of a sudden, that's something the montage at the end of it all is something you can pinpoint a Stanley Cup victory on. I'm not saying Vancouver's going to win one, but like it's moments like that where Stanley Cups and championships in any sport can come out of.
I hear what you're saying on that one. It's like the gods are smiling on us. Let's run with it as hard as we can. But on the flip side of that, Nashville can say, like, Jesus fucking Christ, we're shooting on their third string goalie. We got to do this. We could have won 2 of the 3 series of the Leafs, of the Jets, and of Nashville. I think Nashville is the only one that has a realistic chance, not probable, realistic chance of coming back and winning this series. I think, like, Winnipeg's fucked. They're in over their heads. Like they're in the ocean without a life jacket right now.
Up shit creek without a paddle. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, and the
Leafs are done tomorrow night.
The Leafs are so fucked. But the Nashville, they've clearly been every game's been a 1-goal game. They got extremely unlucky. The gods smiled on Vancouver last night. Let's see what happens next game in Vancouver, because I think of all the teams, that's the only team that really has a believable chance to come back from 3-1.
Vancouver best interest would be to finish off tomorrow night, because that travel between, I mean, I know they're flying private birds and everything else, but that travel to Nashville and back, that isn't a puddle jumper across the fucking to the island. That's a heck of a trip. And if you got to do that 2 or 3 more times, you want to get that thing done tomorrow and give yourself a chance for some rest, because they'll be playing more than likely the Oilers in the next round when it's all said and done. That Oilers team looks really good. Only if people could just stay up to watch the fucking games. Who and the hell is a schedule maker for this? I do not. I get it. West Coast, I get it. I get it to an extent. But how the hell is Sunday night, 8:30, the start time, 8:30, actually 8:50. 8:50 Mountain Standard Time, so 10:50 Eastern, is the start game on a Sunday night for the National Hockey League playoffs with the marquee guy playing. Who the hell is making these fucking decisions? It's ridiculous.
Blows me away. You can play afternoon games, like you're going to have double headers. like start Nashville and Vancouver a little bit earlier. I don't know, because that's ridiculous. I didn't stay up. Like I fell asleep. I fell asleep. I saw the goal. I fell asleep. It's always the intermission. And I usually fall asleep within 5 minutes of the third period. Then okay, 1-0 really ended 1-0. Then I cart my ass up to bed. I got a buddy that lives in Virginia who's an Oilers fan, and I was texting with him earlier on in the day. I go, honestly, like do you watch it live, or do you tape it and watch it in the morning? Like, what do you do? He goes, "Oh, I'm up all night, baby."
That's commitment. I mean, there's only 35 people in the whole fucking Eastern Seaboard who are doing that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's ridiculous to start a 3-hour event at 10:30, like a PG event. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't believe it, but whatever. Like these. Where are the ratings for this? I don't fucking get it. You want the Rangers in your Eastern base, and I guess maybe they just didn't fucking care. They wanted people to tune in for the Nashville game. Maybe, I don't know.
There's got to be a better way. There has to be. That is because even Friday night, like I guess you have people hooting and hollering, having a good time downtown Edmonton at 8:30 at night. But we were in because I'm old and we were playing hockey that day. I was tired by fucking 10 o'clock. I don't think I saw the third period. And last night I had full intentions of staying up to watch the first period of that hockey game, but because of the weekend that I had, I was a little bit tuckered out. I didn't see puck drop, and I had full intentions. I was upstairs laying in bed, but once I put my head down, that was it. Like at that quarter to nine, and that's not just us, Dave, and that's just not old guys, but there's families and people and things. It's just, you know what? It's bedtime. You're still got you got school tomorrow. I got a job tomorrow. Everything else, like it just. I will never understand, because I don't understand why they can't play more than one game at once on TV. Because if you're a fan of the team, you're a fan of the team. You're more of a fan of the team than you're a fan of the game, right? And I maybe I'm wrong on that. You're splitting the audience, but you're still given the chance to split the audience. But on the other side, you're not even giving people a chance to watch the damn thing.
You are and you're on. Well, here in Canada, Sportsnet carries every single game, and they have 4 feeds. So, you can watch 2 games at the same time. Like, you can watch one on your TV and you can watch one on your laptop. You can go to a bar.
I got 4 TVs, 2 over there, 2 over. Like, what the hell? Yeah, stagger the start times by half an hour. Don't wait
exactly.
Because even tonight they waited till the Florida Tampa game was done before they dropped the puck with Dallas and Vegas.
I know. So now the
people are in the fucking building waiting. What happens if that game goes to overtime?
I don't know, and maybe that's their decision, because that kind of pissed me off. Like, why aren't we? Well, it was surprising to me that the puck didn't drop, because it was listed on the guide as Dallas and Vegas starting here, and then I go there and I'm watching the Florida Tampa game. Which Florida already, like, it was
6.
What was it? 2. Yeah. It was 3-2 when I started watching it, and then 2 empty netters, and then like okay, so this game's over now. Let's fucking.
I don't think
let's fucking go.
I don't think you're splitting the fucking fans watching. I think you're taking fans' chance to watch games away, because people just aren't staying up that late. Hockey's still a fringe sport. Hockey's still a regional sport. People want to watch their team, and they still want to go to bed on a school night. It's not that hard to figure out.
Especially if you're at a pub, right? Yeah. Start the one like midway through the third. Like I would rather watch a close game in the third than the first of a game that I probably want to watch. But now you got an eye on each screen. Anyone that goes to a sports bar knows how to watch 2 games at the same fucking time.
Yeah,
it's easy. It's really easy, and you see something happen, and then you go and watch the replay. While keeping your main focus on the game that you're there to watch. And then if the first period, like, fuck yeah, let's have one more. Let's see if we're going home after the first, or we're going to stick around and have a couple more pints and watch this game if it's a good one.
Like, if the NHL actually thinks that they're smarter than the average fan out here in Western Canada, they're not, because we realize that, you know what, there's hockey fans 100% that live in Long Island, that live in Manhattan, that live in Pittsburgh, and they could give a fuck about the Edmonton Oilers. Yeah, they might like to watch McDavid, but in general, they don't give a fuck. They ain't staying up to watch the game. Put it on when the fans of those teams can watch the fucking game.
It's kind of funny you said that because, as you say, if someone did want to stay up late to watch McDavid last night, they were sorely disappointed. He was fucking invisible last night.
Yeah,
I don't know.
There's that.
Yeah, but that's just a side thing. And the Oilers, like, I didn't have Stuart Skinner pitching a 1-0 shutout in
the old bingo card.
In the NHL bingo card this year. But do you know? I'll tell you what. Who is now golfing? Who did not give a fuck? One, Alex Ovechkin. He did not give a fuck.
That whole series. He knew they didn't have a chance of winning. So you know what? This team's going to lose without me. If they're going to lose with me, might as well lose without me. I'm here.
Yeah. I'm here for regular season goals, and I wasn't planning on making the playoffs. So we are
winning Stanley Cup. Let's get this thing done and forth so I can go home to the motherland and call her good.
Like the quote unquote greatest goal scorer of all time registers 8 shots in a 4-game sweep. Yeah, you're a real leader. Like this. I gotta assume some fans are going to be a little bit pissed at him for his lack of fucking effort. Like, yeah, I get it. You're old. I get it. You're tired. But like 8 shots, come on, guy. Come on.
No, it wasn't very good. It's what was your thoughts on was it Saturday night? They showed a bench shot of William Nylander and Austin Matthews fucking giving it to Mitch Marner. Quit crying. This ain't junior hockey. It's a man's game or whatever. Giving Marner shit.
Then
Marner took his gloves
hockey.
And threw him down on the bench. And there was a little bit of lip reading in there, and you could tell that Nylander was not happy. And it was Nylander's first game. So he had some concussion related situation that why he wasn't playing. But what was your thoughts of? It probably happens more than we know. But for a high leverage situation, for 2 superstars to be giving another superstar the what to and how for on the bench in front of like literally in Canada in front of millions of people, and then all the Boston faithful watching that game. That's a bad look for old Mitchie Marner getting chastised by his teammates right on the bench.
Yeah, you know what I listened to the Barn Burner Boys again today, and they were talking about this specifically. And apparently, Mitch Marner has been his dad's been up his ass since he was 10, riding him to be the best, and he's from Toronto. And when I see shit like that from someone wearing a letter, and then where's Tavares? Like, what the fuck's going on?
That's exactly what Deanne said yesterday. Where's Tavares? Where's the captain?
Yeah, like, where's the leader? Like, clearly there's a leadership issue on this team. It kind of reminds me of the Oilers teams to this day. The Oilers super talented players are a little bit older than Toronto's super talented players, but they have no D and they have an average goalie and they have no leadership. And now I believe Connor McDavid and Draisaitl are leaders on the team, but I don't think Toronto has anyone to look to lead them, and because that shit don't happen. And if you have an A on your jersey and you're pouting and throwing your gloves on the bench,
it's a bad look.
Are you fucking 10?
Yeah.
Seriously, are you fucking 10? And you're going into next year. They were talking his stats, and in the last 6 years, he's never cracked 100, but he's had over 90 points a year, 6 years in a row. And in the playoffs, he's over a point a game in the regular season. He's under a point a game in the playoffs. Well, honestly,
of them are. Yeah.
What the fuck are we paying you for now? You know, and he's making 10.5 a year, like, and he's going to want to raise, like, fuck that, get bent. You know, I it's the phrase I've started using all the time. They got a lot of passengers, but they need someone to drive that bus because they don't fucking have it.
Well, what's crazy about the Leafs is like they're not getting blown out, but they're just not scoring enough goals. And so they got all these guys, all this skill development, everything else, and they don't score any goals. So if you don't score goals, you're not going to win. They gave up 5 in the first game, I think it was, but they're 3-2, 4-2 losses, and everything else. 3-1 the other night could have been a lot worse. All things considered, it was the effort wasn't there, and that's the most disappointing thing I think for and not just Leafs Nation and
getting
fans,
booed off
the ice. I think that's the worst because when I don't think because I think there's fans with tempered expectations, right? Like you want your team to win, but you realize that only one's going to win. But when your team doesn't put in an effort, that's shitty because you know what? Especially in Toronto, you're paying pretty good dollars for those seats on a Saturday night, and on it goes. And yeah, it's been a long time since they won one. But when there is a lack of effort, and this goes right across sports, and I don't mind the booing when that happens, but when there's a lack of effort, that's not a good thing. And the fans have the right to boo when it comes to that situation.
And I find that so ironic. I think one of the radio hosts or something was challenged the fans to make more noise after Game 3 because this is the quietest barn. There's no home field, home barn advantage because our fans are so quiet because it's all people with way too much money that are able to come to the game. And, you call out the fans for being too quiet. And the very next game, they boo the fucking team off the ice in the second period. That's rich. Be careful what you wish for on that one, I guess. Yeah. Oh, you want
emotion? I'll give you fucking emotion. Here you go.
Yeah. How about you fucking pretend that you're trying with my $8,000 super sweet seats? Go fuck your hat. You're making 10 mil, but I'm worth more than you. And you know what? I might not renew this fucking seat next year because I can't watch. That's the thing with
hockey. When there's a lack of effort, it's pretty prevalent. Like basketball, maybe you can hide a little bit, but baseball, if a guy strikes out, you wouldn't know the difference. Like it'd be easy. Like we said a few weeks ago talking about betting. If a guy goes 0 for 4, you're like, okay, well he struck out.
It happens
4 times. Yeah. He strikes out 4 times a week. It happens. It's whatever. But when there's a lack of effort in hockey, you can tell. When guys are blowing snow instead of hitting a guy, and when guys are fucking just barely bumping into guys and the shifts are short, you can tell. And Toronto's got a passionate fan base, so they might. Because I didn't watch the game. I watched the third period, but
no one wants to get dirty in Toronto.
Yeah, and that's just the thing.
Yeah. And you got someone like Mark Giordano, who's like 80, but he is a leader. He's not. I don't know how vocal he is. I don't know. He was the captain in Calgary forever. I don't think he was that vocal, and I think that's kind of why they didn't renew his contract because he had nothing in touch with Tkachuk and Gaudreau and those guys. Yeah. He was honestly 17 years older than them. Like, how do you lead those guys? Which is a tough balance to make in the NHL these days. But unless these guys have someone that can say, hey, smarten the fuck up, get on my fucking back. This is how it's done. Fucking dig. And then after the first, why aren't you fucking digging? You're not. Well, I might fucking.
And Tavares isn't that guy.
Tavares isn't that guy because he's not a dirty player. You got to get the C has to be on someone who's
got a bit of grit to him, a little sandpaper.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to be dirty or anything like that, but it has to be the guy that's working the hardest in practice. And it's like, the fuck's going on here?
Brad Marchand.
The fuck's going on here? Brad Marchand is fucking living rent free in that entire Toronto lineup.
Fan base, coaches, radio hosts, everything.
Everybody hates him, but everybody wants him on your team. And I don't like Boston. I don't like Boston at all. But they're showing Toronto how it's done. They're feeding him their lunch. It's a little bit embarrassing. I'm a little bit embarrassed for the Leaf team right now. It's gross. And that who's that tough guy, Reeves?
Yeah.
Fuck me. He's putting more on the tape of the black and the yellow than he is on. Oh, he's fucking awful. Yeah. Oh Christ. It's ridiculous how I'm embarrassed for the Leafs. I'm sorry, I'm sorry all Leafs fan that you guys actually had hope because your team is This team ain't fucking doing it.
Well, this isn't going to be a Leafs podcast because like they're all over the place. But this is one like there's going to be another post-mortem on Wednesday, more than likely. The Leaf season comes to an end, and Sheldon Keefe's contract is. I mean, they like I heard today somewhere like since the second half of last season, 17 NHL coaching jobs have changed. And Dave, is that just a sense that there's just too many teams, not enough quality players, and owners say, well, get rid of a coach, get rid of a coach, get rid of a coach with the hopes because this is all the talent we have. It must be the coach's fault. We have to change things up because we can't change all the players. And there's too many fucking teams, not enough talent, and on it goes. So we have to change the coach, try something different. Because you know what? I have a franchise, and the guy in Salt Lake City who's making the rounds this week, he's going to find that out next. You know what? Win a championship ain't easy, and I don't think it's the coach's fucking fault. There's just too many fucking teams, and not many good enough. There's not enough good enough players that there's any parity in the league. I don't think there is.
I think the Toronto, while it's Bradshaw living the GM, this is his first year on the job, and I think now this is his fourth coach with this. The core here was young. Excuse me.
This is 8 years in now, Dave.
Yeah, but they were quite young, and you got to learn how to win, and I get that. And I don't know, but then they went to Babcock, and then they went to his successor, and now they have this Keefe guy. They got a couple guys that are going to be coming into their free agent year, and I would think, the intellectual honesty is like, we got to switch shit up. Let's get rid of fucking Double M here. Tavares only has 1 year, and then that's between the two of them. Now we got $25 million to spend. Let's find a fucking solid D-man and break the bank there. And then the goaltending is an issue, but I don't think it's goaltending is why they're losing. I think they're losing because of a lack of leadership and someone to kick them in the ass. And I don't know if Austin Matthews is that guy. The way Nylander told him to shut the fuck up, maybe he's that guy. I don't know, but it seems to me to have success in the playoffs. Yeah. You need a difference maker in the playoffs, which is what Marchand is, which is what McKinnon is with the Avs, which is what Stone is with the Vegas Knights, right? Yeah. Which is what Kachuk is with
spleen. Then he goes out and scores the first goal of the playoffs
and beats his shit playing 22 minutes a night. Whatever. Like, we talked about that. It's you need guys that know how to fucking play, and and then maybe you can never do it. Do you strip the C off of Ovechkin getting swept in 8 shots, the greatest goal scorer of all time? 8 shots in 4 fucking games in the playoffs.
Well, we talked about it at the beginning of the hockey season when Ovechkin was chasing Gretzky's record of 894, and he's there because him and the owner are buddies. They ain't gonna get rid of him. They aren't gonna trade him. They're not gonna take the C away from him. For the next 2 years, nothing matters to that franchise at all. Winning, nothing. The only thing that matters is getting Ovechkin to 895.
That's the only thing.
And it's too bad for the other players because the other players only have X amount of years to play, right? And so for 2 years, if I get drafted or if I get signed or whatever free agency, so 2 years, my team's gonna stink because all I'm here to do is feed Ovechkin.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you have an empty net
because careers are short. Careers are short.
If you have if it's an empty net goal and you're going down and they're like, hey, and like, the fuck you doing not passing to Ovi? That was his empty netter, not your empty netter. You're a rookie. It was going to be my first NHL goal.
You know what? That way, anyways. Yeah.
That's also true, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that is going to be the only thing that's going to be. Could you imagine having to coach that fucking team next year?
What are you going to do?
That's it. Everything. Well, okay, so this is what we're going to do when Ovi's not on the ice. And then play normal. But then, like, Ovi gets every first PP. When it's an empty net, if we're up 3-2 late, Ovi's on the ice because we're going to get him as many fucking empty netters as we can so he doesn't hurt us during the regular season.
One thing I was watching on Friday night with and then the other game I watched, I think it was Wednesday, with the Oilers playing the LA Kings. The Kings have won a couple. They got some guys in that team, Kopitar and Doughty, maybe a couple others that won Stanley Cups with the Kings back in 2011 and 13, I think it was. I can't remember exactly when, but that's a long time ago now. And Doughty's had some success with Team Canada, gold medals, and the rest. Probably guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famer, in my opinion. But his the days are winding down to a precious few. He's still a highly skilled player, still a quality player on the ice, everything else. He'd be a welcome addition to any team in the National Hockey League. But when he looked across the ice and saw that he's got the boys of Draisaitl and McDavid barreling down them with not much of a chance to win, and I don't want to say felt bad for him because what the guy's probably got $70 million in the bank or more, so you can't.
And 2 cups and a gold medal,
and on and on. But like when you saw it in his face, I started thinking, like trying to get between his ears a little bit, thinking he's got to be thinking, "Fuck, you know what? I'm never going to win again." You know, like he has to be thinking that. Like I won early, I won often. He's part of that 2010 gold medal team in Vancouver, but he must have been looking across the ice thinking, I'm getting old, right? Because that's 14 years ago. I don't care how fucking old he was when he was on that team. So he's 34, 35 years old, right? So he must be thinking, I'm never going to win again.
Makes you wonder, like, so I don't know how many years are on his contract. It seems to me I don't know. I like Drew Doughty. I like his game. I don't know what he's like in the locker room. Like, would that be a player that Toronto would target? You know,
he's an Ontario kid, so you never know. Yeah,
you do never know. And then like maybe a trade next year. I did a draft day trade of Doughty for Marner. Like, you get the fuck out of here. You come back. I think that's a win-win because LA has to do some hard looking in the mirror. Well, 3 years in a row losing to the Oilers, who lose in the next round. So how good are we?
How close are we?
Yeah, because if we're losing to the team that's losing to the team every fucking year,
then we're not even close to the team.
Then we're not. Then that means, like, how far away are we? Right? It is what it is. It's like, it doesn't matter that we're third, the 4th seed. It doesn't matter. We always get matched up against the Oilers. They beat us, and they go to the next round, and then they lose to the Avs or Vegas. And whoever beats the Oilers wins the fucking cup the last couple of years.
That's a good sign for the Vancouver Canucks. You just never know what's going to happen there. I was watching Doughty because he's still a great player. Like, he controls the way he controls the game and slows things down and just makes the right play all the time. I just got thinking, like, during the national anthem, he must have been looking across the ice thinking, I'm never going to win again. Like, I'm making all kinds of money I'd never thought I'd make in my life, but I'm never going to win again
with this team.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to move.
All those great memories are they're just memories now.
Yeah, right? But he, like, you know, like, he's never trying.
Lose those, obviously.
Right, he's still trying.
And you're playing for pride and everything else, but you know, winning, especially when you get a little bit older, you want a chance.
Well, and like you say, 17 years ago, that's now a bit, and yeah, he's a lot closer to retiring than he is his first contract. How do you want to finish out? Do you want to finish out? And I totally respect it if he wants to finish out.
If he stayed there, no one would say a word. No one would say a word. He'd probably get a lot of pats in the back for not chasing one.
Yeah.
Sticking it out, teaching the young guys in LA, like he was taught by Rob Blake or whoever. I don't know who was an LA King when he came into the league, but you know what I'm getting at. Like, maybe he's doing a service to a franchise that gave him a chance. So there's 15 sides to the story here, but you got to think you want a chance to win. You know, you want a chance still, especially when you're playing at a high level. If you're just playing like Ovechkin's not playing to win, he's just playing to maybe get a record. Whereas
that's it. That's the only thing.
Doughty plays at a high level, and Kopitar still plays at a high level, wanting to win, but the parts just aren't there. Ovechkin's on the other thing. He don't give a fuck who's playing with him. He could care less.
But he gives a fuck because he's going to let him fucking hear it if they didn't get that they didn't set him up for that goal. Like, what the fuck? I was right fucking there. Like this is turning into a bit of an OV hate fest, but I've never really liked that fucker. And he showed his true colors. Like, he wasn't there. He doesn't care. These goals, I could score 500 goals and it's not going to fucking count. So why am I even fucking here? I'm here to break the record and then I can go home. That's it.
Because he's basically on a personal service contract with the owner there, Ted Leonis, right?
Yeah, for 13.5 a year. And
if I don't get it this year, I'll get it next year, and they'll get it the year after, or whatever.
Yeah, he'll pay me on a per game basis or whatever.
Until I get it, then I'll retire. The second I get it, I'll retire. Like that at that moment.
Yeah, like obviously he's going to be a Hall of Famer regardless. But I think he's really tarnishing his legacy because he's shown he don't give a fuck about team anymore. This is about me getting this record.
Especially his performance this past week. Yeah, it's
gross. Like I said it. Now this is my fourth time saying in this podcast. How does the greatest goal scorer of all time get 8 shots in 4 games in the playoffs? Mm-hmm. Fucking gross.
Extremely. Anyways, who do you got win the cup after a week and a half of doing this shit?
I think I'm looking at
change 5 times for the playoffs are over. We'll ask this every Monday night until the Stanley Cup finals are done. Who do you got win the cup right now?
Out of the West, I can't see anyone beating Colorado the way they're playing. In fact, I can't wait to see Colorado Vegas in the next round.
Yeah,
that's going to be fucking great. That should be the Stanley Cup final. In the East, I'm gonna hold judgment because Carolina and the Rangers got fucking layups. They're not even battle tested.
That's gonna help, I think.
Yeah,
actually, one more question: does that help you if you don't have a competitive first round? Does that help you because you're in the playoffs, but you coasted through? But you're not banged up, right?
Right.
But
I'll take the not banged up, and then you lose game 1, but then now you're back into it. It's like getting a little slap silly, like wake up, smarten the fuck up, whack, and then we can see, and then you're real because I do think Carolina and the Rangers are for real, but they both had layups the first round.
So you can't really judge anything there. So yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
And the Bruins, they're the Bruins still, no matter what. They're still the fucking Bruins.
Yeah, the Bruins are going to be tough, but it turns out they got a layup as well.
Yeah.
I can't believe how much shit I saw on social media today. Well, this is what happened in 2013 and 2017. The Leafs are going to push this to 7.
No, they're done tomorrow.
No, they're not.
They're done tomorrow. And then coaches are getting fired on fucking Wednesday.
Yeah, because why not? Because Mitch Marner's a fucking glove-throwing baby.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Anyways, Stanley Cup playoffs are their head. Now, if you're going to a game this week or next week, make sure you go to SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app, and save yourself $20 on your first purchase of playoff tickets. Don't buy them too far in advance going to a game in Toronto because there'll be people giving them away. Anyways, the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, 4 Beer Sports, talking a whole lot more.
Go, if you're in Winnipeg, go to Winnipeg. I saw there was this social media thing. All the season ticket holders selling their tickets for Game 5.
Really?
Oh yeah. Like it was they you know how the dots are in the seats and whatever. But it was like from the Winnipeg Jets site. He goes, every pink dot is a season ticket holder selling their seats.
And they were having trouble getting people in the seats this year, and they started playing better, and then all of a sudden they're pulling up a stinker again because people in Winnipeg are sick of it because they've been licking the jars like the Leafs have for how many years as well. Same thing. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we get around, then we're done.
And last year Rick Bowness had a hissy fit saying his team gave up on him and blah blah blah, and they traded off and then they re-signed Scheifele and Hallebuck. Long term, which was great.
They bought out Wheeler and whoever else.
And Dubois, right? Yeah. Got rid of those fuckers, and so and then they had a great year. They're the number 2 seed, but now when I watch Winnipeg play, they're not ready to play. they're not ready to play. Like I said, like the way they back off, they're playing afraid, and either that's leadership and coaching. It has to be one of them. And when you have someone that's up for the Vezina and they're giving up 5 fucking goals a game, something's wrong.
Something smells a little bit in Whoville. Yeah, there's no getting around that. Yeah. Anyways.
So yeah, use your SeatGeek. Get a cheap ticket to Winnipeg for a Stanley Cup playoff
exit.
Yeah. Whatever. A moratorium. Yeah, it might be for a funeral, but so. Anyways,
the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, 4 Beer Sports, talking a whole lot more. Are you thinking of going to a game or a concert in the coming days ahead, or do you already have tickets and want to upgrade where you're sitting? It's simple. Go to SeatGeek.com or the SeatGeek app. They have tickets for all sports going on right now, as well as concert tickets to shows throughout North America. And to make things even better, use promo code 1420POD, that's 1420POD, and receive $20 off your first purchase. Once again, that's promo code 1420POD at SeatGeek.com or the SeatGeek app. The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, 4 Beer Sports, talking a whole lot more. This segment is brought to you by Righteous Felon Jerky and RighteousFelon.com. Go to RighteousFelon.com and save yourself 15% on the best in craft jerky in the land by using promo code BELLYUP at checkout over there at Righteous Felon Jerky. I went down to, there's a place in Kalispell, Dave. We went down to Moose's on Saturday, but just didn't make it over. There is a retail outlet in Kalispell that sells Righteous Felon Jerky, and we just never made it across for whatever reason. So there is a place. I'll give you the link and maybe show you that next time afterwards. So.
And as a total aside, I saw it on the Twitter machine today. The Minnesota Twins have a home run sausage. It's like one of these.
Yeah.
I see a sponsorship opportunity there, Righteous Felon. So get it out there. Maybe they can start throwing loading the T-shirt gun with meat sticks.
That's not a bad idea.
Oh, that's a hell of an idea. They have this fucking forearm shaped summer sausage in the package, like something you'd find at whatever. It's their home run thing, which is whatever. Everything. Some of them are cool, some of them are not. But they throw this fucking sausage in the packaging to the guy coming off.
The thing with baseball promotions, you fucking try a million things and hope some of them stick, right? It's tough. There's just so many, and you want to be your own, but there's at the end of the day, there's like 5 of them that actually work right across the league. Little shout out to our guys, Northern Idaho Cardinal golf team, for continuing to suck shit, and I hope that they continue to suck shit. But they won again this weekend. Charlie and Spence, congratulations! I hope you guys keep sucking shit, because that's what we do here at the 1420 podcast. Is hope that our listeners suck shit.
Fucking suck shit. Put it in the drink, you bastards.
The reason why we say that is every time that Dave and I have actually said something positive to something. It's a guarantee that team fucking loses. So we're hoping that Charlie and Spence suck shit.
Suck shit, boys. Keep sucking shit.
There we go, Dave. Last week, John Sterling of New York Yankees, been in the radio for 40 plus years. On whatever the fuck WF, I can't, doesn't much matter. ESPN and the Yankees radio network. John Sterling, longtime voice of the New York Yankees. Some of the greatest calls in Yankee history. Been right there. He called her a career. Just says he couldn't do the rigors of the road anymore. He said the baseball part was easy, but it's traveling to the games, everything else, it was getting be too much. The guy's 85 years old, and it was just starting to catch up to him. And then over the weekend, actually on Thursday, I think it was, the Canada lost one of the greatest hockey voices of all time in Bob Cole. Some of the greatest calls in hockey history. You talk about the 2002 Olympic gold medal game when Joe Sakic scored and Ginla scored, and on it goes. And I'm getting goosebumps on my legs just thinking about those fantastic calls. You have Joe Buck not doing Major League Baseball playoff games anymore, some of the playoff games that he called over the years. And because sports is becoming like I said, one guy was a radio guy and the other two guys were TV guys, but with the way broadcasting has become, they're doing things like just doing things remotely and everything else. Sports is finding themselves in a dangerous place, in my opinion, that you're going to be losing these iconic voices and iconic calls. I mean, the moment's happened, the call's going to be there, but you're losing these iconic voices that you get used to having on your TV or your radio on a nightly basis, because the way the game is broadcast now, Dave, I think the sport is in a dangerous spot because a lot of these old voices are they garner a lot of money, and at the end of the day, that these broadcast companies, these sports, these teams want to make as much money, so you're going to lose a lot of these guys because there's always some eager beaver coming out of the woodworks to take these jobs and won't demand a pretty penny.
It makes you wonder about that kind of thing. And I think how the Yankees had John Sterling, the Dodgers had
Vin Scully.
Thank you. And Canada hockey had Bob Cole
Forever.
And before I start with this, I was one of the people towards the end of his career. It's like, fuck, enough already, because he was slipping. His voice and cadence and the way he did it was so good. But when you start forgetting players' names and not being able to do it properly anymore, I think you're starting to diminish. And then a couple of years after that, he retired, and I was one of the guys, like, for people that do know me and heard me wonk on Bob Cole as like it's time to retire, I'm owning that. But the listening to Bob Cole call those Canada Cups back in the day with Gretzky and Lemieux, to listening to him call every single Stanley Cup final game, to listening to him every Saturday, even though Saturday night, even though it had to be a Toronto Maple Leaf game. He's part of my childhood. He's part of my hockey memories. Bob Cole voice is my hockey memory.
Yeah.
Vin Scully is same thing. John Sterling, not so much, because I didn't listen to the radio broadcast like you did. But from what I saw on the Twitter machine, there's so many people. It's just like, holy fuck. There are people my age. He goes, this guy's been calling games since I've been 12 fucking years old.
Yeah.
I can't deal with someone else calling a game. This is what Yankees baseball sounds like. You and I commented the other day about Joe Buck not calling the World Series anymore. Like, I get it. Joe Buck's probably only 20 years, but nonetheless, it just makes sense, and it's a soundtrack for sports. And I think sports announcers, because it's now, well, in football, it's all broken up into the different networks, right? So we're not going to hear Al Michaels call it every year. We're not going to hear Nance. Jim Nance in golf is another one. Like, who's going to call the Masters after Jim Nance decides to hang it up? And I wonder if the sports fans of today, I don't know how much I know my kid doesn't watch too much sports. He likes playing sports and he likes playing video game sports, but he doesn't like sitting beside Pops to watch sports unless we're live. So is the soundtrack of sports gone?
I think that because you talked earlier on when we were off the air about your buddy in Virginia who stays up late to watch the game, and then there's guys who PVR the game and don't want to know who wins until tomorrow morning, or for a late night Saturday or Sunday night game they'll watch it, or even a late night Saturday game, watch it Sunday morning before they when they get out of bed. And so streaming in the way sports is watched a lot now, because now you put a. And this is, we're part of the problem, I guess, a little bit, because like me, there's some games where I'll listen to it, but a lot of times if I'm watching a game, I'll have a podcast on, watch a game, this, that, and everything else. The way sports is consumed a lot now, announcers don't matter a whole bunch just because there's so much content, unless it's a big game. Then you want, like we're in Whitefish on Saturday night looking for a place to watch or on Friday night looking for a place to watch the Oilers game, and a friend of the show, Mike Davis, who got himself in a little bit of a pickle there on playing hockey on Sunday afternoon, as we talked about in the previous segment there, that he wanted to watch the game with sound. So we're like, well, we couldn't find a place. So we went back to the cabin, and because they got rid of their satellite, on and on it goes, he couldn't find the streaming service because he doesn't give a shit. So we went back downtown, but found a place that had volume on. So it was only a 5-minute drive back and forth, not a big deal. Jan was a DD, so it all worked out fine. But the way sports is consumed a lot now, with so many streaming services and with so many channels and with so many ways to watch games, that way. And the announcers of yesteryear, the Al Michaels, those calls, those iconic calls are iconic calls because of the voice behind it. And guys get that they come up with those things spontaneously. And that takes a certain talent. They don't just they don't practice, they don't rehearse those things. Those things just come out of their mouths at whatever time. And I don't think you're going to have that because it's things are just broadcast differently. And you don't have these lifelong guys anymore because money is so big elsewhere, and there's other ways to make money in this stupid business that I think that we're kind of a part of a little bit, on obviously the lower terms of things. But I don't think you're ever going to have these long-term forever announcers anymore because of the money that these guys are going to command later on, or the money they can make elsewhere.
And I think that's a thing
wrong,
too. Because,
well,
the networks, aside from NFL football, don't want to pay these guys, right? The one, what I do, I'm not a multi-screen guy like you are, and so when I watch, it's one, maybe two at a time, and with the sound off, with the sound on the one I want to hear, and as far as hockey goes, there's no one I really love anymore. I don't hate anybody, but like a lot of these feeds are down from the States at Sportsnet, like during the first round of the playoffs. I'm listening to guys from the TNT and whatever, and it's just different. I'm not calling him good or bad, but it's just not like Bob Cole. It's not like Chris Cuthbert. It's not like who's the other fucker that I don't mind. It doesn't matter. In baseball, or sorry, like when I'm doing chores and then there's outside and whatever, I'll put it in my ears. Like I'll have the streaming going on my phone, but I'm not watching it. So I am listening to it. And baseball is one of the nice things that you don't need a watch to hear, whether you're listening to the baseball TV feed, or if you're listening to the actual play-by-play, the radio call. It doesn't matter that much because there's so much dead space. And you know who I like, that Dan Schulman, is that his name?
He's good. Yeah,
he's really good, and he has a nice voice. And at the beginning of everything, I like a nice voice, and I like a person that can just have a cadence and a delivery and just relax and be confident, because I can't tell you what a bad announcer sounds like, but I'll tell you when I hear it. And do you know who one of those guys is? It's fucking A-Rod. Oh, those assholes that do ESPN Baseball Tonight. And then that's the thing I was kind of thinking about. Sorry, I just reminded myself this is what I wanted to talk about.
Oh, don't be sorry.
Okay, I won't then. I'll take it back. What about if just like Major League Baseball, NHL, and if the NBA, if you want to get on this too, I don't give a fuck. But have a either a Sunday night or a Saturday, like a Sunday night game of the week, or a Monday night game of the week. I guess you can't do it for hockey because they're going to be up against Monday Night Football. But have a game of the week where we're going to do it as a network, and this is going to be our person. And you know what? When we get to the playoff, when we get to the Stanley Cup finals, the broadcast partner still gets to do their shit, but you're also going to get the feed. So you have a voice. So you have someone that, like, over 10, 15 years, you can listen to the same person call the game and maybe try and build some brand loyalty and memory into the voice of the game that you're hearing and you're watching. And the game of the week, let's call it Saturday. Yeah, Saturday night hockey. They can do it in the States, right? We have, I think the CBC thing with Hockey Night in Canada is almost done, but like just do that. Carry that game fucking nationwide on Apple or Amazon or whatever you want to fucking
problem.
do.
Apple is so bad for baseball because they did the Friday night game. The broadcast is awful. The announcers are awful. The graphics is like it's done by me in my basement on Canva. It's awful for a multi-billion-dollar company like Apple. So when Apple's has the game on, kids are like, I'm not watching this shit. My buddy does a better job of fucking broadcasting Wichita State High college baseball.
Especially when you're a Yankee fan, because the reason you're even watching it as a kid is because your dad is over there, like, fucking hook me up with this fucking shit. I don't even know why I have to get on at Apple to watch this game.
I remember this is 20 years ago, but you probably remember as much as I do. But Sunday Night Baseball was great with John Miller and Joe Morgan.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yes,
and Miller was the voice of the Giants in San Francisco for years as a radio guy.
And Joe Morgan
and they were great together, fantastic together. And
they had repertoire and they had
and why voices, they ended, I don't know. Maybe they got outpriced. Who knows? I don't know. And they were great together. And you just wonder what the plan is, because at the end of the day, if you don't get ratings, like if no one's watching, your advertising dollars are going to go down. So you got to make sure that you're relevant and you keep it relevant. And they probably know more than we do. Obviously, do, because more people watch.
Well, they know how to work more money out of it.
Market our show, right? But you're losing out on a lot of people and a lot of moments in time, because every World Series, every NHL playoffs, every Super Bowl has a moment. And if you don't have that voice behind the moment, you go back to 1980 and Do You Believe in Miracles, Al Michaels. And there would have
been. See you tomorrow night.
There would have been a different call at a different time, but the way it was delivered and the voice behind it mattered just as much as the moment, right? And the verbalization behind it mattered just as much as the moment, because that's part of it now, and it's part of history. And I don't know if there's any voices out there. There's probably some that are coming out of the woodworks. I get it, but recycling through announcers every fucking year and every fucking game, you're missing out on tradition. And that's the one thing that I like about baseball, that I've always loved about baseball, is the tradition of it all. And you're kind of starting to lose that, just not only the on the field product, but the off the field product as well.
And baseball itself isn't trying to maintain the tradition of listening and watching the baseball. Like, honestly, like, what's wrong with a Sunday night baseball game? And just pick them. It's like fucking NFL can do it and move people from Thursday to Tuesday.
They
to
still
Monday,
have it, but they make it quirky and goofy
and goofy, and it's going to be on Amazon. And I just put it on fucking whatever. Like, that might be an MLB app thing for a fucking change. Like, but no, like, it has to be on network free TV. It has to be on network free TV. And even if they want to give it to them, but like, this is going to be our 3-man crew or 3-person crew. Because who is Sterling's partner?
Out of it.
Yeah. Like, keep A-Rod way the fuck out of it, and then whatever the best game. Like, as long as 2 weeks out. Okay, this is where we're going to be 2 weeks from now. This is where we're going to be 2 weeks from now. Right? Everybody has Sunday baseball, and like, we might move a night game to a day game to a night game. That's what we might do to schedule tweak. And then, if you want to get pissy about it as a baseball player, get fucked. It's one game.
I think one thing baseball needs to do is bring back guys that as color guys who aren't recently removed from the game. like you look at Joe Morgan, like we were talking about earlier on Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Morgan was out of the game for 20 years. I don't know if he was doing Reds games or whatever he was doing like prior to, but bring guys back that aren't recently removed. Like A-Rod's 10 years now. He's 10 years removed now, 10 or 9 years. That's all. Like 15, I think was his last. I got it on there. 16 was his last. He's 8 years removed. So bring back guys with a little bit of history to them that can maybe teach the game a little bit, and like that maybe a kid's going to remember the name and bring back some history and things that might get kids interested in that kind of stuff. Whether kids will be interested, I don't know, but that might be something that they could do to keep the history of the game alive. Because if you're just making it a shiny new toy all the time, because there's shiny new toys every day. Like there's more broadcasts every day. Like when I was down in Montana this weekend, I was watching the SEC network because it was just a new shiny toy that I don't get here, right? So it's another baseball game that I hadn't seen, and it's different. But I think that's something baseball's got to do, is bring back some wily old vets as the like, don't go back 50 years, obviously.
No, but like I listened to a couple Mets games last year, and Keith Hernandez is on that podcast. He's good. Like, and he has
and he won a world championship
with one of the most famous teams of all time, the '86 Mets. Everybody knows the '86 Mets, right? Like you can say the '92 Cardinals, and then like what comes to mind? But like you say the '86 Mets, people know Buckner, they know Strawberry, they know Doc Gooden, they know Keith Hernandez. Like there's that series has some cachet, and he's good, he's funny. And he gives insight. David Cohn is on one as well.
Cohn's on, yes, he's great.
I like him as well.
Him and Paul O'Neill are great on the Yes Network. They're fantastic, actually.
So to agree exactly what you're saying, just find someone what you're doing and just put one on fucking network TV every Sunday. Like give it away, because that's how you build fans. You know, on Sundays during the summer, that's going to be on the TV because it's the only sport.
And it's Sunday night. I'm winding her down. I'm barbecuing in the backyard. It's on the TV. It's on the radio. It's on. And it's relevant.
Started at whatever, like 5:00 Eastern, right? So that's 3:00 our time. But a baseball game takes 3 hours, and then there we go.
Yeah.
Now we're listening. We're watching. It's on while you're doing shit. And that's what a baseball broadcast is kind of about, because the only time I sit in my seat and watch every fucking pitch is during the playoffs. Otherwise, it's just I just want to keep track. I want to hear it. I want to see it. So
some goofy stat about something. You might hear something about the day's playing, whatever it might be. No, they've got to do a better. And we've talked about it before, and I've talked about the Belly Up Super Show that baseball just does a piss poor job of marketing itself and find a way to trip on themselves all the time, and they do it. And it's and hockey's kind of on the same path. A lot of people like the TNT broadcast with Biznet and the guys. I don't watch it enough. I don't watch between periods anymore that much anymore. I
never do. Yeah,
I was always the hot stove lounge guy. That the trade deals and everything else. I'm not going to sit there and pretend I give a fuck with the breakdown of a neutral zone trap. I don't give a shit. I don't. Like that 30 minutes of dribble or 20 minutes of dribble in between periods, I could care less. I think it's ridiculous how they stand there and they're holding hockey sticks and pretending to shoot pucks. I think it's stupid, personally. I don't know.
But it's a different market, right? And they're trying to explain the game, and I don't watch it either. But I will say this, I prefer the hot stove lounge guys, Elliot and Rudy and what's his nuts from the Vancouver Canucks.
Jeff Merrick's on there sometimes.
Merrick and Christ, who's the D-man from Vancouver who's on there now? Bieksa. He's really good too.
Bieksa's good, yeah.
I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. Do you know who's it's time to go? Old Ron McLean. Because after the guy, after I'm done, I don't.
We're done waxing poetic about the old guy sticking around. We're fucking telling old Ronnie to get bent and go get.
Oh fuck! They're breaking down the game and doing a really good job and being funny about it. And then all of a sudden we have to hear about W.O. Mitchell when he was fucking rowing his boat across the lake in northern Sheridan. Like Jesus fucking Christ, Ron. So here we go, and
Hudson Bay to
fuck, I get it. You're smart, but you're now, unfortunately, Ron, you're old.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. Dave, we'd be remiss to defend our NFL draft happened over the weekend. We're not going to break it down by any means, but everybody's big draft guys. Our friends of the show, Jarrett and Jim, they did a show on Steel and Teal today. Came out this morning. Everybody had their takes on everything else going on in the NFL draft. And it started on Thursday night. I was sitting down when we went down to Montana, sitting down at the old Blue Moon Saloon in Columbia Falls, Montana. That place is a hoot and a holler. I tell you what, I sat down there, and there was line dance lessons going on, Dave. Line dance lessons by a African American fella dressed up as Gene Autry. It was something.
Charlie Pride,
I guess. But he looked more like Gene Autry with the hat and the chaps, the whole bit. He was teaching line dancing going on, but the NFL draft was on, and you tweeted something at the time because there was hundreds of thousands of people live in Detroit watching this thing. And we talked about this time last year. We'll probably talk about this time next year. I don't fucking get it. I don't get it. I will never understand it. I will never understand the breakdown. I will never understand why they put cameras in the war room after the draft is done. Like they're congratulating themselves and jerking themselves off because they picked a defensive lineman out of Washington State. It was the 17th pick, like it was a big fucking surprise, and they got a steal of a deal. They fell into a pick. No, they didn't. That was the next best available player, and that's what they needed for their roster. Who gives a fiddler's fuck? Every quarterback who got taken in the top 10 this year is going to fail miserably next year. Every quarterback who got taken in the first round in the last 20 years has failed in their first round. The NFL draft, to me, Dave, is the biggest joke in professional sports today. Case closed.
The draft isn't the joke, the production of it. I was like, I couldn't believe it. Over 100,000 people came to this fucking courtyard
dressed up in costumes and cheering every move that they made and booing other picks. And who gives a fuck?
Find a fucking hobby. And this goes to you, Jim. This goes to you, Garrett. This goes to everybody. And I don't fucking get it. I enjoy everybody's enthusiasm for their team. But I had people on the Twitter machine fucking think, Bo Nix, blah, blah, blah. And then another guy, hey, not the pick, because I had, like, fuck, it is what it is, and I don't have a fucking say in it. So, I'll just watch the games if that's okay. And B, we're not going to know if this person's going to work or not. And, like, the earliest we're going to know it's going to work is going to be October.
You won't know then.
You don't know. You just don't fucking know. Oh, this is a money pick. And then, you see all this fucking shit. Is Caleb Williams going to be the best quarterback that Chicago's ever had? Well, to start,
you got pretty slim fucking pickings.
That's a low fucking bar. We're talking.
If that's as good as we're getting, you got Jim McMahon and
Jake and smoking Jay Cutler. That's it.
That's it.
But, since I've been a kid, they're fucking terrible.
Like in my lifetime, I know two. Fields was there, obviously. That's Cutler and McMahon.
Rex Grossman got them to a Super Bowl.
Well, if he's as good as Sexy Rexy, the pick is a good pick.
Jim Harbaugh, Doug Flutie.
Think about that. If this pick is as good as Rex Grossman, that's it.
Then he vaults into number 3, right? If Caleb Williams doesn't get them to a Super Bowl, he hasn't done as good as
Rex Grossman.
Rex Grossman got them to a Super Bowl. Lottie fucking Daw. And then all this shit. And people like, well, Bo Nix is 25 years old. Are you happy about that? I don't give a fuck. Let's see, we were like, so now he's a rookie, a first round rookie. We got him We got team control for 5 years, and we'll see where he's at when we're 30. You know?
You know what happens if he sucks? You know what happens if he sucks? He sucks. They draft someone else next year. Who fucking cares?
And we're paying fucking unlimited $35 million to play for the fucking Steelers. So what do I fucking care? Like, either it's going to work or it's not. And we can't afford a big name quarterback right now. That's what I feel like as a Bronco fan. So, go and fucking stroke yourselves out. Go fucking sword fight and jizz all over each other and just tell you how good you were with your picks. I don't fucking get it. I don't fucking get it.
Wearing the costumes they're wearing this fucking draft. Like, what did it cost them for fucking baggage fees to fly across the country to put on some stupid costume to cheer on some guy that they've never fucking seen before?
To come out and hang out with for 8 hours, it's like fucking Times Square on New Year's. Yeah.
So what happens if they don't draft the guy you fucking wanted him to?
Well, I was there. You know what? I was in my fucking let's pretend I was drafting. I was
in fucking Columbia Falls, Montana, drinking $3 Bud Lights. Good. It was stupid. Now I got something to talk about on the podcast, but yeah,
But you know what? I'm 10 feet away from a fucking can, and I'm not outside shoulder to shoulder with a whole bunch of fucking
lunatics.
Knuckleheads. I'm not gonna. Yeah, lunatics, knuckleheads.
Knuckleheads, lunatics, all the same.
Tomato. Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't.
Hey, we got this guy from this team, and he's what every team wanted. So why did the other team pick him?
Steal of the draft. He was projected to go at 32, and we got him at 58.
All right.
Steal of the draft. Is he going to make a difference? Is he going to win your team one more game next year? I don't know. We're going to find out. We will find out.
Did anybody in the last 3 days make their team better than the team that won the Super Bowl this past season?
In fact, Buffalo may have helped Kansas City win another Super Bowl. They traded a pick to give Kansas City the fastest wide receiver ever. From as far as the combine thing.
Can't catch, but fuck, he's fast.
Oh,
I don't know. Obviously,
well, neither do I. But you know what? We're gonna find out. You know when? In fucking December.
No, in December probably. We won't know till December.
We won't know
from now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's a learning curve.
And, another
thing, a learning curve. So then they draft someone else next year. We're doing it all again next year. It's stupid.
Katie and I went out for supper, and we bumped into a guy that and his family at a restaurant that he's in my live fantasy draft thing, and I talked to him. Hey, how you doing? And he's a Charger fan, and obviously over the years I've busted his balls enough about that. But it was the first face to face I've seen with him in a bit, and say, fuck, I'm jealous about Jim Harbaugh. I go, it's kind of funny how he said we're going to draft an O-lineman. And then the fans are like, okay, we trust in you, Jim. And they draft an O-lineman. And then, Jesus fucking Christ, you just got rid of two big wide receivers. We need a fucking wide receiver. I told you, we're drafting an O-line. So it just goes to the point of how stupid fans are as well. You had this wide receiver, this wide receiver, this wide receiver. He goes, if we can't keep this fucker on his feet, then what's the fucking point of having the best wide receiver on the planet?
That's exactly it.
Right? It's like armor guarding the box of your truck. Just, if you're going to haul sand, armor guard your truck.
Jim Harbaugh has coached more days in football this month, and it's the 29th of April, than most of these prognosticators and most of these podcasters have ever played or been a part of it in their entire life. So shut up. You don't know. Let them do it, and then watch the card calls they make.
And you just hired me, and you're all happy, and now you're going to crawl up my ass for hiring an O-lineman after I told you we have to protect the quarterback.
Yeah.
You fucking donkeys.
So let's get a wide receiver so he's on his back all the time again. By Hebert.
Dummies. Dummies.
I like our draft. All right. Are you going to win this year? Well, no. Well, that's good. That's good. As long as consistent. If that's what their hobby is, it's fine. Our hobby is not that. But I think
our hobby is a little bit of mockery of said people sometimes.
I think it's not even just a hobby. It's more of a
it's kind of like that Seinfeld back in the day.
Time anymore, yeah.
Where Putty painted his face.
Yeah.
And then Elaine told him you're not allowed to paint your face anymore. And then they were going to start fooling around, and he took off his shirt and it had a letter on it.
Yeah.
So I thought you were done with this. Well, you just said my face. Clearly, this is not my face. It's just
maybe Jim and Garrett know more than we do. They probably do.
Oh, they for sure do. They're for sure. I'm not going to say that. They're much more researched than we are.
Yeah,
they're more researched. Yep.
I'm too busy for that.
And I like picking on people that take things too seriously, like an NFL draft. Like, how the fuck are you taking a draft seriously?
Yeah.
It doesn't even make my dick. I didn't even get a twinge in my dick on talking about the NFL draft.
I couldn't believe what I was watching again. We more people got to listen to us, and they got to quit fucking. They got to quit fucking succumbing to the fucking 4-letter network to watch that dribble.
Oh, well, it's a 4-letter network, and then it's just everything. I like whatever. Do what you want to do, but
no.
But just just grab a fucking adult Lego set, and do that instead, because that takes hundreds of hours. Some of those Lego sets and that
do a
kind
puzzle.
Of thing.
Do a
puzzle. Yeah, exactly. Puzzle. Yeah, puzzle is a tenth of the cost of a Lego set, even though Lego sets are actually kind of cooler when they're done. But you can love sports. You can love
a puzzle, Dave. You can redo a puzzle 1,000 times. You're not going to get faster at it.
No, I disagree with that. You can get faster at a puzzle.
At a puzzle? No.
Yeah, for sure. If you get how about a Rubik's Cube, right? A Rubik's Cube is a puzzle, and you can do that faster. Neither me. But I see I
can get two sides.
My son has a friend who is really good at it, and he brought it over once. I go, let me see you do this. It was fucking magic. Oh yeah, it was under 3 minutes, and he was like spinning like that. I don't know if they grease the Rubik's Cubes now or something like that. You see
those guys, those champions, get them like 10 seconds.
Jesus Christ, it's amazing. Like, yeah, they get to study it for a minute or what have you, and then okay, I'm ready to go.
Maybe people who study we must get a sponsorship by Rubik's Cube. People who take the draft so seriously, they should take up Rubik's Cube. It'd be better time spent for their psyche and not be putting useless information into their coconuts.
Yeah, because you know what? They're going to go absolutely fucking psycho 1 year from today again.
Oh,
and then I don't know, like cheering.
What a draft. Oh, we're going to finish in 16th.
110. Like I saw the numbers. They fucking, the draft is drawing more TV viewers than the
games.
Fucking, yeah. Boom. I don't get it. There's so much I don't get about that, because you might have fucking just wrecked your franchise, right? The Bears traded up to get Trubisky, and then where's he now? Like he's gone, and then they got Fields,
Rex Grossman,
and he's fucking gone, and now they got Caleb Williams. What's to make? Why is this first round top 5 quarterback pick better than any other top 5 quarterback pick?
So if he gets hurt week 1 because their team stinks, can't protect quarterback, which has been a problem, then what? Well, fuck. You can't predict that.
I put it on the Twitter machine. Like it came across there. The Bears signed the best drafted the best college punter of all time from Iowa. Which I get it. It's a part of the game, but you're not. The next time a punter wins an MVP of the Super Bowl, I'd love to see what he does. Nonetheless, Caleb Williams tweeted him and said, "Hey, great to hear we're going to be on the same team, but we're not going to need you this year." Yeah, because you're going to be on your back or throwing fucking picks. Fuck, I don't get it, and I understand Caleb Williams' talent. I've seen his highlight reel. Lot.
There must be a reason why there's some negativity attached to his name, though.
Because he's not a fucking winner.
Right.
Win. The Heisman Trophy is not a win.
Reggie's getting his back, eh?
Yeah, nice. I dig it. Maybe they felt bad because of the juice being dead.
I'm happy for Reg.
Same. Caleb, like, be a winner. Like, I'd way rather draft a winner than someone like Caleb. Yeah, and I might be an asshole in 3 years, but give me a.
He might be great. He may have 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. Who knows? He won't.
Give me a winner.
He won't. But he's not going to. They're the Bears.
They're the Bears, and they stink, and they don't know what they're doing. But give me JJ, give me Penix, give me fucking Knicks. Like, at least they played in a championship game. Caleb doesn't.
Let's get to some who is better in caller tonight. Ready to go?
I am.
All right, Dave. We started this quite some time ago. I don't know if we repeated these or not. I'm sure our research staff, Tim Monteith, will tell us we used these guys before. But let's start with this one. Talking with the NFL draft, he was probably on TV a lot this week. I saw him on the Twitter machine today. Who is better? I like this guy a lot, actually. Kirk Herbstreit or Captain Kirk, William Shatner.
Ooh. William Shatner is a cultural icon because of
he was popular for 5 years, 40 years ago.
He caught
on again, but his that Star Trek thing was a long time ago.
His staying power is absolutely amazing. But then you remember TJ Hooker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was the cop in that. He carried that show, him and Heather Thomas.
Yeah.
Not Heather Luck. Yes. Remember that?
It was not Locklear, I don't think. It was Thomas, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it was for sure Heather Thomas. Yeah. And then so he did that. And then because of the resurgence of Star Trek, he became a bit more of a cultural icon than like his speech pattern. He's a more campy not Jeremy Irons. Who am I looking at? Christopher Walken. The way they talk and being ridiculous.
Too, eh?
Oh, fucking still kicking, still Canadian, doing everything. Herb Herbstreit does amazing work with College Game Day and calling a game. He's like, yeah, but I think he is fucking great. Absolutely great. But you know what? Sorry, Herbstreit, you don't have a 60-year career. So only on account of that, no disrespect to Herbstreit, I like him a ton. This one goes to Shatner.
Captain Kirk, William Shatner ahead of Kirk Herbstreit. There we go.
Do you remember the thing that Eddie Murphy, like Captain Kirk, don't care if that pussy's green? Do you remember that one?
Yeah. Dave, who is better? WWF Hall of Famer, WWE, what do you want to call it? Ricky the Dragon Steamboat or the Super Freak, Rick James?
Rick James is hilarious because he had a terrible drug problem.
Because that's funny.
There's a series on HBO. It's produced by Mike Judge, the maker of Beavis and Butthead and whatever the other one is with Hank Hill. And it's called Tales from the Tour Bus. Season 1 is all about country music. Season 2 is all about the R&B artists of the day, and the one of Rick James was fucking off the hook. It's ridiculous. Rick James, super freak. Fuck that, Rick James, because you know what? Rick James, Prince was opening for him on tour when Prince was, I think, 19, and then Rick James took exception to Prince, and they had a bit of a feud and what have you. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, solid wrestling career. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer or not, but
He is,
yeah, Macho Man owned you. Yeah, this one's a no doubter. Super freak all the way.
No doubter. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, WrestleMania 3, had a fucking 19-minute epic match with who you said there, with the Macho Man Randy Savage. Was an NWA World Champion, Intercontinental Champion, the whole bit. I don't think it's a toss-up or a slam dunk like you said, but I will go with Rick James. But Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, he had a hell of a career. Like he was fantastic.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, I agree. Like, and once again, I'm not besmirching, but it just happens to be that his competitor today is just, in my mind, you fucking roll like Rick James. And
I mean, I saw something that I'm sure our mothers would appreciate, rolling like Rick James, but yeah.
He left a mark.
He left a mark, all right. That's one way of putting it. Dave, I got another one here for you. Who is better? We talked about earlier on the show. Basically gave his teammate Mitchie Marner what for and how to on the bench on Saturday night in Toronto there. William Nylander or the next King of England, Prince William.
Oh, fuck. I'm going to give this to Will Nylander because I could give a fuck. Is that the most ridiculous thing in the history of ridiculous things?
I don't even think you can rank it as ridiculous, how ridiculous it is, if that makes any sense.
I would rather be Bill Gates' son or Jeff Bezos' son or whatever, because you know what? I got as much, if not more money than you, and I don't got fucking people getting all up on my grill with a fucking camera 24/7. Like fuck, like what's the benefit of that?
I don't know what these monarchists do. Like I don't know what they do.
Whatever they want, I'm thinking.
Well, yeah, but
right?
just like they're about as useful as Kardashians.
Oh,
I don't know what they do.
And you can't touch the prince, and you must look at the prince, and you have to stand behind the prince, and you can't touch the queen, and fuck your rules and fuck all of that fucking shit. And I would imagine, and not even Prince William, like there's Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Fuck, I see all that with every now and then. That
leave us alone, but put on a book.
Yeah, leave us alone. How about you leave us alone? How about you leave me alone and not tell me what the fuck you're doing all the time? Yeah, don't put out a press release. Okay, right. Don't sign a deal with Netflix. Don't write a fucking book. I want to be rid of the royal family, and here's my book about how I want to leave the royal family. Well, no, that's not how you fucking do it. And you don't get a budget for a security report, the team, and you don't get a Netflix deal, and you don't do this, and you don't do that. Yeah. There you go. Like fucking go mop a floor for a fucking afternoon and see how you like that, Prince. Hank. Fucking Prince Hank.
Nylander?
This one goes to Nylander. Fuck the royal family.
I don't get it. Like Deanne into it. Deanne's mom is into it. I don't get it. I've never got it. I don't understand it.
I had a super crush on Princess Diana. Super crush on her.
Prince William's wife is kind of handsome.
She's cute. Yeah, she's skinny, and she's been like, have we seen her in public since December? How do I fucking know that? Well, who the fuck knows? She might be drugged and in like a fucking Matrix pad.
No, there's a lot of stuff going on there.
And how do I know that?
There's a lot of stuff that's going on that I hope we don't ever find out, that we don't find out, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I agree. But, I don't care to find out. Keep it secret. There's some shit that doesn't matter that just do your thing, but just don't take it out of my fucking pocketbook.
Last one, then we'll call her a night, Dave. Who is better? ESPN guy who actually gave the Winnipeg Jets and their fan base a shout out a week ago.
Oh, your boy.
My boy, Pat McAfee, who I don't really care for because I don't know why he doesn't sit down when he does his show. Although I shouldn't be smirched because when I'm watching the game, I don't sit down either. I do a lot of standing and pacing when I'm watching the game. Your boy, my boy, ESPN host Pat McAfee, or NHL Hall of Famer, U.S. Olympian. He scored a big goal for the Islanders a couple of times on and on.
The doe-eyed Pat LaFontaine.
I think he's a Hockey Hall of Famer. Who is better, Pat McAfee or Pat LaFontaine? New York Islanders legend. Right.
Buffalo Sabres
legend as well, yeah.
Yeah. He might have been the first guy to actually have to retire for concussion issues before we were calling them concussion issues.
Because he wore that big horse collar fucking deal.
Oh, yeah.
It wouldn't snap back? Yeah.
Yeah, he was slick, and he was a goal scorer. He was good looking. He did everything right, played in New York. He started with Buffalo, didn't he? And then he came to the Islanders.
I think he won the last Stanley Cup with the Islanders back in '83.
Yeah, as like a rookie or something like that. Yeah.
He was an Islanders.
No, I love fucking Pat LaFontaine. To be honest, if I've listened to 15 minutes of Pat McAfee flapping his gums in my life, that's it.
I haven't. I shouldn't. I might like him. Who knows? He might be the same kind of guy we are. I haven't listened enough because there's just times I watch him. I listen to him more on College Game Day than I have his podcast.
Yeah, and then like his clips come through, and that's what I mean by that. Like, so that's how I know, because I hear him and like his greatest hits. And you know what? His greatest hits are great fucking hits. Like when he trolled on. Excuse me. It was Georgia, Alabama.
That was really good. Yeah.
And the way he trolled the Georgia crowd was fucking awesome. And he's fearless. He's a hard worker. I don't dig everything he does. I do know.
Well, we talked Aaron Rodgers with Aaron Rodgers stuff. Look, if you don't agree with what he's saying, then tell him to fuck off.
Yeah. You know, and so he is what he is, and I get it. I appreciate how hard he works, but this one's a no-brainer once again. This one's Pat LaFontaine.
We were talking earlier on about the announcers, how their calls. The guy in Buffalo, he had some. I can't remember.
Ron Jenneret.
Jenneret, yeah. He had a Christmas one. LaFontaine scored in Buffalo. La 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 LaFontaine. Fuck, it was great. It was great.
That's a Hall of Fame call.
Yeah, it was a great like it was an overtime goal or something, and la 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 LaFontaine. So one of those things. So it's kind of tying it all together. Dave, this turned out to be a fun show tonight. Been a week, and we had a good one tonight.
Well, we got lots to talk about. I still got a couple of things in the hopper. You know, we did have a chance this morning when we started the show to talk about the weather. That's normally what we do, and I don't know what it's like in other parts of the province, of the continent, wherever you're at. But you know, the first sign of spring here in southern Alberta is when you see your first robin. Right?
I'm a gopher. When I see a gopher, that's when spring's around.
Oh, I usually see a gopher before a robin.
No, but you know what? I'm a gopher guy. When the gophers come out, that's when they're like, okay, good, we're good.
Do you know when the real sign of spring being here in Lethbridge, Alberta, specifically on North 13th Street North?
What's that?
A dude, jeans, no shirt on.
No.
Yeah, I snowed like last week.
Was it you?
No, it wasn't. Like fuck, blue jeans and no shirt. I have no shirt on, but then I have shorts on. Like it's when you see dudes walking around with blue jeans and no shirt on, that means summer. That's that means spring is here.
Yeah.
And that happened. And as it so happens, we got a 90% chance of precipitation.
Snow tonight.
Yeah, coin flip as to the snow, and I put the fucking snow shovels away again. But whatever, we're gonna deal with that. And so, just on that note, when we talk about our songs, I'm gonna give you some weather. Lightning crashes or thunder rolls. Garth Brooks or live.
Fuck.
Both these songs aren't in my total wheelhouse, but I will turn both up if it comes across my feed.
I will listen to a Thunder Rolls 6 times out of 10. I will listen to a Lightning Crashes, because that song's fucking near 30 years old now.
And you turn it up a little bit every chorus, don't you?
No, I actually turn this. I hate that song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't like that song at all. I used to.
I dig it.
I'll go with the Thunder Rolls. If I had to listen to one or the other forever and ever, it would be Thunder Rolls. I don't like Lightning. I never really cared for that one. I don't know why.
I think it's cool, and I dig on Girth. I actually saw Girth in concert in Calgary way back in the day,
yeah.
And but I think Lightning Crash is the slow build. I like a slow build song. And the Thunder Roll.
Yeah, I like Thunder Rolls. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That live fuck off. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's just like kind of a one hitter. And do you own any Garth? Can you get Garth on your phone right now? Do you have anything downloaded? Do you have a CD?
I think there's a CD tucked away here at Squamish Court. I like that Ain't Going Down Till the Sun Comes Up. I like that one a lot. That was a good one. I like that a lot. Yeah.
And there's the Rodeos song. I was going to say something else. Yeah, Garth he blazed the path for like all country music. Like he was the first pop star country music star.
Yeah.
And he was good. He was an entertainer and he had good songs, like if you want to call it country or not. But
yeah, in 1993, the Fort Saskatchewan Traders had the Ain't Going Down, the Sun Comes Up as their goal song. Fucking, they were up about fucking 6-2 in the third on the old Bonneville Pontiacs. And fucking Harry York, future NHLer Harry York, been on the show before. He fucking goes, "Rad, you like that song?" I said, "Yeah, it's pretty fucking catchy." He goes, "Who sings it?" I said, "I don't fucking know." He says, "You want to hear it again?" I said, "Absolutely."
Please.
So fucking Yorkie fucking lost the face off on purpose, and it went back to Wade Finning. fucking Finning. We and him were buddies. He threw it at the net. I laid that fucking thing. It went in to make her 7-2, and the fucking Ain't Going Down, the Sun Comes Up. Fucking played again, and fucking we skated by and fucking said, "Who sings this one?" "Well, it's Garth Ain't," until he told us who the song was. All right, there we go. Because this before internet and phones, all that stuff, right? So
you had to let a goal in to hear the song.
Well, I didn't let it in. No, that's one I let in. I let that one in.
Yeah. Well, just like your mom said, how many you let in? I didn't let anything in.
Well, that's what I let in.
But that's the one you wanted to let in.
That's one and the rest just missed me.
And did you push record on the cassette tape?
I can't remember what we did the next day. No, we went to the music store in Bonneville the next day and bought the CD.
That's a hell of a fucking goal song.
Yeah, it was fucking. Yeah,
and
yeah.
And what song was that?
Ain't Going Down, the Sun Comes Up.
Well, maybe that should let's
we laugh.
Let's switch that. Ain't Going Down till the Sun Comes Up in honor of the Bonneville Knights getting rolled by
Pontiac's getting fucking steamrolled on a fucking Tuesday night in Fort Saskatchewan. Fuck me. Just laughing.
Well, I'm glad you admitted to letting one in.
Oh yeah, we laughed. What? 6-2 or 7-2. Who gives a shit? That point. Anything else, Dave? That was a fun show. I like that.
No, that's all I got for tonight. We got a couple things in the hopper, but I think we've flapped our gums enough tonight, and we can talk about. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Oh, there's gonna be coaches fired come Thursday and fucking all of it. Mayhem.
Yeah. We'll talk about it there. But anyways, I think
things, stupid sports.
We've covered enough, and give us our hate on the Twitter machine so we can talk to you on Thursday night about it.
The 1424 Spark podcast, more beer and sports talking a whole lot more. Take care of yourself, more important, take care of yourself, need your rep. Stick on the ice, what else, Dave?
I don't want Jim to swing at high pitches. And hey, stay safe in Vancouver if they manage to win this, because
fucking every time they win a series, they fucking they're happy when they win, but when they lose, they burn the fucking place down.
Oh yeah, so like for Jimmy in Vancouver, just stay safe and pray for Vancouver win so you don't have to shelter in place.
Northern Idaho College golf team, the Cardinals, Charlie Spence, keep sucking shit.
Suck shit, boys. Suck shit.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you when you're done sucking shit. Okay.
There we go. 1420 Sports Bar podcast. 4 beer sports talking a whole lot more. It ain't going down till the sun comes up.
On that note, have a good night, everybody.
Good night, folks.